Yo, I probably pressed record about 15 times and I'm tired of pressing it. So this is going to be one take. If I screw up, if I stutter, I'm sorry. Just take the message and run with it. So in this video, I want to talk about something that I've been observing with people recently, as far as human nature, how people behave and just the way people act, specifically with the younger generation. I feel as if the younger generation is, I don't want to say they're waking up, but I feel like they're beginning to poke through the veil and just question things, I really feel like there's some higher power just sending its angels out to tap people on the shoulders and just plant seeds inside of people's heads. What do I mean by planting seeds inside of people's heads? What I mean is like provoking a thought, provoking a question. For an example, running across a TikTok that exposes some deep information. At first, you may see it like, oh, this is weird, or, this doesn't make any sense, but then you start to see it again. So then you start to become aware of that, and you start to take that information and start running with it to do your own research. Things like that, like seeing stuff on your timeline or having certain people around you that is trying to put you hip onto what's going on. I had somebody close to me tell me that they saw crystals on TikTok, and they said at first it seemed like bullshit, but once I actually tried it, it actually worked. Like, I actually felt a difference in my day-to-day life. It's not a lie. So I know this is kind of off topic, but I just kind of want to show you and present to you how these angels may present, or how these angels may plant a seed inside people's head by just having people question things, by having people have thoughts, by having people have, ideas, by having people just have a mind of their own. And it's all baby steps. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's gonna grasp everything at once. You're supposed to take your information like a teaspoon, a teaspoon a day. Too much information at once is not good. Trust me. I tried it and I almost went down the rabbit hole and I almost lost myself in it. So too much information at once is not good. But back to what I was saying about the younger generation, there was two separate instances where I was blown away. Like, I just was shocked that this person knew what they were talking about. One of those situations was with my younger sibling. My younger sibling had a conversation in the car with my mom, and he was basically saying to her, like, yo, did you know that you're not supposed to eat meat? Did you know that you're not supposed to be drinking milk from cows? And he was basically telling my mom these things like she didn't already know. It's like he was kind of trying to put her on game, but she just kind of went along with it. But yeah, when my mom told me this, it was like, damn, like it really surprised me. I was not expecting for him to really ask those questions. And at first, I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, all right, well, now that I'm here in the moment, I'm very thankful that he's asking those questions. I'm very thankful that somebody's steering him in the right direction. I don't know if it was a YouTuber that inspired him to ask these questions, like Shane Dawson. I don't know if it was, a friend that he's talked to that, put him on to this information. So whatever it was, I'm very grateful. And I'm very grateful that he's on the right path. And I'm very grateful that he's on the road to having a mind of his own. But in the moment, I didn't think that way. I was like, okay, like it just, whatever. But later on that week, I'm not cutting this out. Later on that week, I went on vacation. I went to the beach with my friend and his family, and we were down at Ocean City. Now, we were there for about 3 days, and the second I walk into the door, I kid you not, this is how I know, people are the younger generation is starting to wake up. The second I walk through the door, I see a crystal on the countertop. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, yo, whoa, like, who in this house knows about crystal? Because mind you, we were like about 15 people deep inside that house. So I was just shocked to see a crystal on the table. I didn't know who it came from. Later on that night, I found out it's its younger cousin. And I don't want to disclose her age, but she's younger than me. And throughout that weekend, we were talking, and I asked that question. I'm like, hey, is that your crystal? She's like, yeah, like, I'm starting to learn about it. I learned that it's good energy. I'm like, yeah, it's good energy. Like, keep doing it. Keep collecting these crystals. And, I remember later on that weekend, me and my friend, we went out for a walk, and I don't know how this conversation came about, but we just started talking about religion. We started talking about what we believed in, and I don't want to disclose that information. You probably have an idea of where that went, but yeah, we talked about like just thought-provoking things. And I think later on that night, we were all outside and we were all talking and chilling, and we were talking about like this. We started talking about like deep things. We started talking about 9/11. We started talking about, if we believe the earth is flat. We started talking about, the moon landing. We started talking about, if we think this is a simulation. We started talking about evolution, religion. We started talking about that again. We started talking about just a lot of different things. And it's just really interesting how those conversations can come about when you least expect it, And I remember when we were having that conversation, I look up at the sky and I see something flash before my eyes. And I was like, yo, like there was just some flash before my eyes, and everybody turns around and like, oh, I don't see anything. And then later on in that conversation, everybody shuffles around. Like we all switch positions. We all like change where we're sitting. And the girl that collects crystals, she was like, oh, hey, look, I just saw something flash in the sky. And I was like, oh, you saw that too? And she was like, yeah. So we didn't know what it was, but it's just crazy how me and her both collect crystals and we both saw the same thing in the sky. And everything, like, it's just crazy. Everything comes together. Everything comes in full circle. We have a conversation about religion. We talk about what's out there. We talk about what's in space, and then we see something flash before our eyes. It's just crazy, It's just crazy how these conversations just pop up out of nowhere. But yeah, that's basically all I wanted to say. Those were the two experiences that really opened my eyes. And those were the two experiences that really convinced me that the younger generation is beginning to, again, I don't want to say they're waking up, but they're beginning to ask questions and have a mind of their own. So with all that being